Hey, it's the Oni Gino, and this is Talk Now, Think Later. Let's look at the freaking news. Even the visuals and systems are pretty much the same, Hideo Kojima says. Too many games are similar these days. Chris Scullion from the Video Games Chronicle writes. Yeah, I kind of agree. Okay, let's read a little bit more about this news here. Yeah, Mr. Kojima there. The Death Stranding creator says he hardly plays any big budget games now. Death Stranding creator Hideo Kojima says too many big budget video games look the same these days. During an interview with Canadian fashion retailer Essence, the interview noted that Kojima sounds disappointed about the state of his industry. Ghost of Yotei directors talk open worlds. Jin Sakai and the Power of the PS5 VGC podcast special. Kojima explained that while he was watching the main Summer Game Fest presentation, he felt like every game shown involved the player fighting either an alien or a medieval monster. He says even the visuals and the systems are pretty much the same, Kojima says. And a lot of people enjoy this, I understand, but it is important to put something really new in there for the industry. According to the report, Kojima also stated that he doesn't play many big budget games these days because he finds the most interesting work is in indie games, while big budget games are safe and boring. Kojima was also asked if he would be playing Konami's upcoming remake of his game Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, to which he reportedly laughed and said, "No, I won't." Recalling an anecdote in which he visited a notable studio, which wasn't named, to advise on a new stealth game it was working on, Kojima said he was unimpressed with what he was shown. People who are making military games, they probably don't know how to dismantle a gun or shoot a gun, he explained. So that's kind of sad. Asked whether he could dismantle a gun, Kojima replied, "Yes, because I've been doing this training as well, and I learned so many ways to kill people as well." I mean, what do you expect from Kojima? Earlier this month, Kojima said he wanted to be the first developer to make a game in space. I want to train people. I want to train properly, he says. Learn how to do the docking, go to the International Space Station, and stay there for a few months. He said that at the Sydney Film Festival. I'm not a scientist, but I could probably make games in space. I want to be the first. There are a lot of astronauts over 60, so I guess it's possible. Jason from chat saying it's method acting. Yes, sir. All right, let's let's put Kojima's face here because it's gonna look like I'm talking to him. Do we agree? I do. I don't know from chat if you guys agree. Yeah, because like, you know, my wife said earlier, like movies, you know, the businesses are all playing it safe. You know, and that's, I think, the kind of the sad part about the idea of data-driven design, right? Like, and I come from a UX background, and my friend here also comes from a UX background, and it's a lot of data-driven decisions right now. The problem with data-driven decisions is that it's just looking at the past, just looking at history and what worked. And when we talk about video games, is that the only thing that we want to put out? You know? Yeah, and yeah, so my friend here on chat says, no one wants to take risks because they're putting so much investment into production. That's real. That's a really good point, especially like Kojima talks about the AAA studios that are actually doing this. AAA studios right now are just, you know, experiencing so many layoffs, you know, like reorganization, stuff like that. It's just so much, you know, put into realism, to, you know, pushing the, pushing everything to like the state of technology that we're in, like ray tracing or whatever. I mean, it's not bad. It's just that I don't know if we are remembering that, like that Nintendo does it well, right? Like Donkey Kong Bonanza, it seems to be, an out of nowhere, out of left field a nomination, or I guess like a candidate for game of the year. That doesn't really have like really good, technology and stuff like that. I mean, it does because of the whole let's break some rocks. let's break this entire environment. Bonanza's really cool. Yeah. Jason makes a good point here. He says that graphics first, gameplay second is, I think, and this was I feel like this is something that was very important back then in the 90s and in the 2000s. It's you would have like these games on screenshots on magazines and on jewel cases, right? And it's very important for people to see like, a general glimpse of how the games are. But now that we're, we have the internet, everybody's online, everybody sees like one, image of a game or thousands of images of a game or another. It's not like it's not like people are so invested in how something, if something looks better than the older generations of technology. I feel like now the general population is just like hoping that there is a standard of realism, and they're checking the boxes of like, okay, this doesn't look too dated, and stuff like that, and oh look, the lighting's better and stuff like that. But I don't know if people are actually thinking about all the fur and monsters and all the micro details of the scales of things, stuff like that. Yes, chat says the camera industry selling pixels is what it sounds like. Yeah, those megapixels and stuff. The other point I wanted to make here is like, this is also coming from Kojima, right? And we know Kojima as a guy who really like focuses on I guess like really breaking the standard for anything, really. Like, Metal Gear is his baby was like a military tactical stealth espionage game, but then it doesn't really take itself seriously. It has a lot of comedic parts, and the comedy is so absurd, right? So even in that like situation, I feel like he's already breaking, the standard for like what does a military game look like, what does a military themed comedic take looks like, right? Like it's and that's surface level for Kojima stuff. I think what he's talking about are, mechanics for that, because every time a new Metal Gear comes out, there's new stuff that that works, and there's new stuff that we have to understand that we haven't seen on other other places, like the stealth stuff. I think it's only Splinter Cell that actually made I guess like enough of a competition for this, and it could come close. And it's beyond stealth gaming now, right? Like there's so much that Kojima adds. My last Metal Gear game was Metal Gear Solid 5, and that was a stealth action game, but it was open world, and I would call it open solution game. So you could basically finish all missions there with a different take, however you wanted it. And you would think that would be super daunting, but actually, man, it's so intuitive in a very, very overwhelming way. Yeah, that's really quite the contradicting statement there. Uh, but yeah, this opinion comes from this guy who's making the games, who's making Death Stranding now, right? And even with that, I think he has the authority to actually make this case, because like, who can explain Death Stranding? I've only watched Death Stranding videos, and I've only seen it through the trailers, and how my favorite personalities and game journalists talk about Death Stranding. At the end of the day, my head is going around the idea that like Death Stranding is a basically an Amazon delivery package game set in the future with cell phone handcuffs, with babies, because it revolves around the word delivery. So I guess that's there, and then you would have a lot of these other things around the idea of delivering and traversing. In other places you would have like yeah, that's yeah. My friend says he made the side quest the main game. It's crazy. It's so good. And honestly, Death Stranding 1 wasn't received as well as Death Stranding 2, I believe. Because I feel like the public wasn't ready for it. It's like, what the hell is this game? Why am I delivering stuff? Why am I doing Tetris on my backpack and stuff like that? But actually, I would even be concerned if his first game with Sony Studios was actually received very well, because it means he played it safe. It means he checked the boxes of what people wanted. So I think this is a good balance here, or maybe just people just like the idea that Sam Bridges, the main character of the game, can piss anywhere, and then a mushroom would grow, and all other online players would know that you pissed on that spot. It's crazy. That game is more than how I described it. There's structural, changes that you can make so that you can help other people traverse, and make their deliveries more freaking easier. So there's that community aspect where you're not really playing multiplayer, but there's that community sense on it. It's yeah, there's so much. And technology wise also, they've been pushing it. If you've seen some of the Death Stranding 2 stuff, it's not that he skimped on how he skimped on the technology of the graphics, because that has next generation graphics, especially for elf fanning space. But all of that stuff, he's not selling Death Stranding for the graphics. That's just there. It's a given. I think what he's selling there is this idea that whatever you're gonna play from his game is gonna be weird as hell, but also is gonna be fun. So I believe him. There are reports that this guy is an asshole sometimes. But like, if we focus objectively on what he said on this article, I just want to say it's right, and maybe it's time to also, for players to kind of sound off. What I like, though, about the current situation is that indie games are given time, or airtime, right? Indie games are getting back into the interest of the public. I remember before when they would have a Nintendo Direct, that whenever it says like Nintendo Indies or Indies Direct or something like Indie World, there you go, I would kind of groan and say, oh, I want I want Nintendo games. I want like AAA games. Now it feels different. Now it feels like, oh, yeah, let's see what other weird stuff we're gonna see in this game. I actually cannot forget like this one TikTok I commented on because we have a lot of farming games, right? Like there's just so many freaking Stardew and Harvest Moon clones. But this one I found I wish I could share it. Maybe I'll share it on the description here. I'll try to find it. But I'll share who made it as well. This Stardew like game has a big twist here. And they say it up front. Basically, you're an alien from outer space and you're a spy. And you have to play the game as you play Stardew because you have to learn the ways of the human ways, and then you have to report, all of that stuff to your alien brethren. So you have to farm, you have to do livestock, you have to get the townspeople to trust you. You have to fall in love, form a family, uncover all the secrets of the whole thing. It's so interesting. And then I don't know, how does that game end? Does that game, end with you choosing to annihilate the entire thing so you can terraform it? Or is that game that you spent like 200 hours farming and, talking to all those people and actually having a relationship with them make you, lie to your brethren and to your race and then say, nah, it's not worth terraforming this planet, let's just go somewhere else? It's interesting. It made me think. It's not something that it's not just your same farming game and then they say the same things of like, you can fish, you can hunt bugs, and you can plant stuff. I think Kojima's right. And for everything that he's been saying, and he's been hitting the right note, and sometimes also not hitting the right note, and all these controversies around all of this stuff. He makes a I guess a very logical case of, yeah, the big guys, the big companies are playing it safe. Now, the question is that a problem? Or is that a good thing for our indies to actually have the spotlight? And can we actually think about that as now an identity? Like you go to the expensive AAA big budget games if you want to feel safe and if you want to feel like you're getting the same experiences but just like a better world, a better looking thing. And if you want to try something different, then go to the indies. I don't know. So right now I'm not sure if it is really a problem. I think it is a statement that's factual. I don't know if it's something we actually want to address. What do you guys think? Is it a problem? Is it something? Should every game be breaking the norm and changing, what we have currently? Yeah, pushing the boundaries, stuff like that. Yep, chat says that's where we're at now. Yep. Tell me what you think in the comments. I got more thought-provoking Talk Now, Think Later episodes here on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out with the news, Jason, and great insights as well. Thank you to my wife who was kind of listening, but also giving her opinions. Yeah, I'll see you next time on the next Talk Now, Think Later. Good night.